GMAX, I have had, sorry, the good and the bad, still you'll never know. What the future may bring, I am done listening, still you'll never know. On January 28th, I had my lumpectomy, as well as the sentinel node biopsy. While I was on the table, the doctor did not like the way the sentinel nodes looked or felt, and so she did a frozen pathology of two of them right there and then. Unfortunately, they both came back positive. She then did an axillary node dissection and removed 18 nodes for testing. She also found 3 cancerous cells behind the one that she was removing that were not seen on the original mammogram. Because of the node dissection, I had drain put in that would drain away any fluid or blood that may collect in the wounds and cause infection. I saw my surgeon the following Monday. She removed the drain. But unfortunately, by Wednesday, I developed edema, which is an excess of fluid collecting in the cavities or tissues of the body, and I was in severe pain. I went back to her on Friday, and that started about a month-long journey of her just draining me and draining and draining and draining the fluid away until it was completely gone. Sorry. On February 6th, I received the final pathology report from the node dissection. Out of the 18 nodes the surgeon had removed, 9 were cancerous. At that point, I was at stage 3, and I needed to have not only radiation, but chemotherapy as well. My surgeon also informed me that she did not receive a clear margin of error, and I would need further surgery at a later date. I had to make an appointment with an oncologist to discuss what my treatment plan would be, and it's different for every person who goes through this. It was determined that I would receive 4 rounds of two drugs called AC. They actually stand for something, I can't pronounce it, so don't get online. And 12 rounds of another drug called Taxol. I was also informed of the possible side effects of chemotherapy: nausea, hair loss, fatigue, your white blood cell counts completely plummet, and so much more. I was given a ton of prescriptions to fill. At that point, they also checked my veins to see if they would be able to handle an IV being put in every week or couple weeks or so, and my veins were basically shot. So I had to have a port put in. A port is a plastic tube that's put into your chest and attached to one of your veins, and that's how the drugs are delivered into your system. It also can be used to draw blood. Thank you. I started my chemotherapy on March 2nd. For the first 4 rounds, since the AC drugs are very, very harsh, you also receive a booster to help your white blood cell count stabilize and stay steady. I was fine the first day of chemo. My first time of chemo, I was fine. My second day after chemo, I was fine. Third day, that was the end of it. No appetite, basically slept on and off, nauseous, everything and everything. That's basically how I stayed for the rest of the week. When you're on AC, you must see your doctor the week after treatment to check your blood cell count and to make sure you're okay. Unfortunately for me, even with the booster shot, my white blood cell count plummeted. And that's why I felt like I did. But at the end of the second week, my energy level did pick back up, and I began to feel much better. This pattern continued for the next treatment of AC as well. Luckily, by the end of March, my blood levels stabilized and I was able to return back to work. Returning to work was such a godsend for me. It provided me with a much needed distraction and gave me a semblance of a normal life and a much needed routine. Working during breast cancer treatment was both normalizing and challenging. It gave me a sense of purpose and a routine and an otherwise chaotic schedule of medical appointments. It was also a financial necessity, with just my husband working at the time and raising 3 kids. Not only was I able to return to work, but I was able to return to Zumba, which is an exercise class, and how I met Kathy. At this point in my life, Zumba was one of my many, many, many addictions. I missed it terribly. It was a stress reliever and gave me a sense of well-being, or spirituality. Spirituality can be the way we find meaning, hope, comfort, and inner peace in our lives. Zumba gave me all that and more. It contributed to improving my spiritual and mental health, which is just as important as your physical health. In mid-April, while on spring break during Easter/Passover, I developed 2 upper respiratory viruses, which required me to be hospitalized for 4 days. Both viruses were treated with broad-spectrum antibiotics. I was lucky in that I didn't have to miss work, and I was able to return to my job as well as go back to Zumba the day after being discharged from the hospital. I was also able to stay on schedule with regards to my chemo regimen. I completed the last 2 rounds of AC without any other incidents and began Taxol at the end of April. I had 2 treatments without any problems, besides some minor neuropathy, which is a tingling numbness in your extremities, your fingers and your toes and your hands, as well as bone pain, which are all normal side effects of chemo. The Monday after Mother's Day, I developed a low-grade fever and a cough. It was discovered that I had contracted pneumonia and was put on the nebulizer and missed work for a week. My doctor wanted to take me off of Taxol because the pneumonia could have been a reaction to this drug. He decided to place me on a drug called Taxotere, which I would receive every 3 weeks. In between stopping Taxol and Taxotere, which was a 3-week period, my port became infected and had to be removed. I was given a PICC line instead, and the PICC line is a form of intravenous access that can be used for prolonged periods of time. Fortunately for me, the PICC line worked for about a week and also became infected. Had to be removed. That was removed, and then I had a second port put in. I started Taxotere in the beginning of June, and it seemed like such smooth sailing. I still needed to receive a booster shot like I did when I was on AC, because Taxotere is also known to lower your white blood cell count. On July 12th, my right arm started to look swollen and began to hurt. The next day, I saw my doctor, and he diagnosed me with lymphedema, which is a swelling of the arm and hand caused by a blockage in the lymphatic system. Unfortunately, this condition is not curable, but it is manageable. When I do work or when I exercise, I have to wear compression sleeves and a gauntlet, and I was also taught some massages to do to help the lymphatic system along. At the end of July, I developed a urinary tract infection, that caused me to be hospitalized for the 2nd time. This time I did miss work for a few days, and then was treated with another course of antibiotics, and was able to go out to work and return to my life as normal. I finally completed chemotherapy on August 3rd, 2015. At my last appointment, my doctor informed me that I would eventually need to have my ovaries removed, since my cancer was hormone receptor positive and liked estrogen. Until we were ready to take that step, I would receive a monthly shot to stop production of estrogen, and actually I'm going for that first shot at the end of this month. I was also put on a drug called tamoxifen, which blocks the actions of estrogen and will need to be on that medication for the next 5 years. I previously stated that my breast surgeon did not receive a clear margin of error, and I would need further surgery. A clear margin means that the tissue furthest away from the breast was free of any cancer cells. She informed me that she would need to go back and remove more tissue to get a clear margin. She then also offered me another option, a bilateral mastectomy. This option would offer me a 90% chance of never having a reoccurrence of breast cancer again, while going in for the removal of more breast tissue would still mean I would at least have a 20% chance of getting breast cancer again. It seemed like a no-brainer. And on September 9th, I underwent the bilateral mastectomy with reconstruction, which means that eventually I'm going to have implants in and I'll have breasts again. I'm still in the process of healing from that surgery. It's only been a month, but I believed it was important for me to come and to hear and speak to you all. And I still have a very long road to go. I still need to complete reconstruction, still need to heal from the surgery. I need to complete reconstruction. I need to undergo the 6 weeks of radiation treatment, have the final surgery to have the implants put in, and have my ovaries removed. During my journey so far, I have realized a few things. One of the most important things I've realized is that you have to have a team behind you. You really can't do this by yourself. It's impossible to do this on your own. You need someone holding your hand every step of the way. For me, that's first and foremost my husband, who has been my rock, my world, and my everything, and he hates it when I call him out like that. My children have also been instrumental in my journey. My oldest two have become men right before my eyes, and I can't say how proud I am of them in how they've stepped up and taken over so many responsibilities, from cooking dinner every night to watching their severely autistic brother. I could also not have fought so far if it wasn't for the constants in my life, my job. I'm a special education teacher. I work with children, preschool children who are also on the spectrum, so it's very, very rewarding for me, and it really serves an important purpose. So that's why I talk about it, because it's something that I'm also very, very passionate about. And my life in Tumba. My co-workers at my job have been so supportive of me throughout this that I can't even begin to thank them. At the end of chemo, they even threw me an end of chemo party, and they all dressed up in pink and surprised me. And it was the one thing I can't even begin to say how overwhelmed I was by their love and support towards me. Being at Zumba was also such, I can't even say how much it meant for me to actually be there at Zumba every day. It felt like being at second home. And even if I don't have as much energy as I used to, I feed off of there, so I'm able to complete each class. I'm thankful to have these people in my life. There's another poem I'm going to read to you. I don't know who wrote it. I found it online, but I think it's apropos for today. There are certain things that cancer cannot do. It is so limited. It cannot cripple love. It cannot shatter hope. It cannot corrode faith. It cannot destroy peace. It cannot kill friendship. It cannot suppress memories. It cannot silence courage. It cannot invade the soul. It cannot steal internal life. It cannot conquer the spirit. I just also wanted to leave you with this thought from a woman named Rosedale El-Sharetz, who was the executive director of a Jewish organization called Shasheret, and she recently lost her battle against breast cancer. Shasheret means chain, and it's an organization that's dedicated to support Jewish women throughout their diagnosis. She said that there are 4 words that will change a life forever. You are a survivor. For every day we laugh, cry, think, daydream, talk, listen, fight, or love, we are survivors. Young or old, man, woman, or child or living with cancer, or loving with someone with this disease, we are survivors. I am a survivor. I choose to live my life as normally as I can. I refuse to lay down and let this disease define me. I am a survivor all because I listened to my mother and went to get a mammogram. She and it saved my life, and I cannot stress how important it is to have one every year. Survivorship is how you define the way you live your life. To me, that's what it means to be a survivor. I could lay down and crumble in my bed and cry, or I can get up and go about the daily events of living. So that's why I say, even though I'm still in the midst of treatment, I am a survivor. I want to thank SNAP Brookville Senior Center for allowing me to share my story with you guys today. I also want to thank Kathy for inviting me here to speak with you today. I've gotten to know her through Zumba, and she's one of the most sweetest, most positive people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. Thank you again.
Kathy, you were doing Zumba? My goodness. Kathy, I said you were doing
I was
Zumba?
doing Zumba, but I'm inspired every day. Every time Amy would walk into that room,
Yes, that
it
is.
changed the energy in there. She's absolutely incredible. Her spirit soars for all of us. So I thank you, Amy. Another round of applause